Hello everyone. Welcome to JamJac channel. For today's episode, we will have a review about this Gundam, which is the RX-78-2. But before we begin, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and click the notification bell for more review videos like this. Let's begin. The RX-78-2 Gundam is the titular mobile suit of Mobile Suit Gundam television series. Part of the RX-78 Gundam series, it was built in secret on Side 7. The Gundam would turn the tide of war in favor of the Earth Federation during the one-year war against the Principality of Zeon. It was primarily piloted by Amuro Ray. History. The RX-78-2 was the second of 3 Gundam prototype units constructed on Side 7 in Universal Century 0079, as part of the Earth Federation's V project. Built to complement the long-range unit gun tank and mid-range support unit gun cannon, the Gundam was designed to be a highly mobile, close-range machine with advanced weaponry beyond that used by Zeon's machines. A raid by Zeon forces on Side 7 in September of Universal Century 0079 resulted in heavy damage to the other 2 RX-78 units built on the colony. However, thanks to the unexpected interference of V Project head Tem Ray's son, Amuro, inside the RX-78-2, the Zeon intruders were repelled. Though they had caused significant damage to the colony, the Gundam and its sister units were spared. The 3 machines acted as the defense force for the Pegasus-class mobile suit carrier White Base and protected the ship in its push to Earth and travels over North America and Asia, fighting in support of General Revel's Odessa campaign. The RX-78-2 later participated in the defense of the Federation's headquarters in Jaburo and the pivotal raids on Zeon's asteroid bases Solomon and Abaoku. Its reputation was one of dread, with Zeon armed forces nicknaming the unit and its pilot White Devil. During the Battle of Solomon, the Gundam engaged and defeated Dozal Zabi's fearsome MA-08 Big Zam mobile armor. In the Battle of Abaoku, the Gundam fought the unfinished Zeon prototype, the MSN-02 Zeon, piloted by Char Aznable. Both took heavy blows from the other, with the Gundam losing its head and left arm. The 2 machines ultimately met each other within the corridors of the Zeon stronghold, when their pilots had them both fire one last shot after being set to autopilot, destroying what was left of the Zeon and decimating the Gundam's right arm and leg. Amuro later returned to the Gundam's wreckage and used the still intact core fighter to escape the fortress, leaving the Gundam's other parts behind. Despite the loss of Amuro's prototype Gundam unit, the series itself has a long line of successors, such as the Gundam Mk2, the Zeta Gundam and the ZZ Gundam. During the Third Neo-Zeon War, Banagher Lynx and Full Frontal were able to travel across space and time using the Neo-Zeon's Psycho Shard. One of the events they witnessed was the Gundam facing off the Big Zam at Solomon. Technology and combat characteristics. The Gundam was incredibly advanced for its time. Built from lightweight Luna titanium alloy, its frame was both lighter than that of Zeon's mass-produced mobile suits and much sturdier, able to shrug off a MS-06 Zaku-2's machine gun fire with little to no damage. Its offensive power was above and beyond that of the Zaku's. The Gundam would engage in most battles with its beam rifle, making it the first mobile suit to have firepower equivalent to a battleship's beam cannons. In addition, it made use of 2 beam sabers, blades of extremely hot plasma which could cut through any metal with ease. Those beam sabers could be extended into a spear-like beam javelin, which could be used to stab into an enemy from a longer distance. The Gundam also used more conventional weaponry. It could launch rockets with a Hyper Bazooka, the Federation's answer to the bazookas used by Zeon's Zaku's. In addition, its head was outfitted with a pair of small Vulcan guns, as a way of attacking light-armored aircraft and vehicles without wasting ammo or energy from its more powerful armaments. It also made use of a very unconventional close-range weapon known as the Gundam Hammer, a large weapon similar to a flail which could be swung at enemies to deal crushing damage. The Gundam Hammer was eventually upgraded for use in space and outfitted with a number of verniers on the ball, and renamed to be the Hyper Hammer. Lastly, it wielded a shield which would offer it a defense against enemy attacks that not even its Luna titanium body could withstand without damage. Gundam pilot Amuro Ray would make use of the shield as a decoy in many battles, taking advantage of its size to fool the enemy into thinking he was charging at them, then attacking the enemy through the shield. In terms of technology, The Gundam was equipped with a sophisticated learning computer which would collect pilot and enemy data during skirmishes and allow the Gundam to operate more effectively. The data from the computer was used by the Federation to improve the controls of the Gundam's mass-produced form, the RGM-79GM. In addition, it was upgraded by Federation technician Mosk Han shortly before the Battle of Abaoku to improve its reaction times. The joints of the Gundam were given a magnet coating, based on the experimental procedure performed on the RX-78-3G-3 Gundam and later used on Amuro's intended successor unit, the RX-78 Gundam NT-1. The Gundam makes use of the core block system implemented in the other V project units. The torso of the Gundam is mostly hollow so that a FFX-7 core fighter can dock with it. This allows the pilot to jettison the legs and torso of the Gundam should the machine be too heavily damaged and gives the pilot a chance to escape from battle. Later, during Operation Odessa, the Gundam is given a support unit known as the G-Fighter. The two G-Fighters were designed to take advantage of the Gundam's modular system and diversify the Gundam's role in active combat. These modes ranged from the assault bomber G-Armor to the close combat support tank G-Bull. Officially, it is called a prototype, but it is also said to be more of a custom-made machine that is finished with high-quality materials and the best technology. Armaments. 60mm Vulcan Gun. A pair of 60mm 3-barrel Vulcan guns are mounted in the Gundam's head and are used for mid-range and close combat defense. They are useful for intercepting incoming missiles, rockets, destroying mobile suit sensors, and attacking lightly armored vehicles. Furthermore, a concentrated barrage at close range could critically damage a Zaku-2. Beam Saber. The Gundam is armed with a pair of beam sabers with an output of 0.38 megawatts for melee combat, and they are stored on the sides of the backpack when not in use. One beam saber can be kept as a reserve weapon, or both can be wielded simultaneously. The beam saber emits high-energy Minovsky particles from an E-cap within the handle and contains them in a blade-shaped I-field. The resulting blade of superheated particles is able to cut through almost any material not treated with an anti-beam coating. The beam saber's E-cap is recharged using the mobile suit's reactor when the weapon is stored. Beam Javelin. The beam javelin is an alternate form of the beam saber, in which the handle extends and the beam emitter produces a 3-pronged beam at the end. The long reach of the weapon gives the Gundam an advantage in close-quarters combat. The beam javelin can also be thrown like a spear. At first, the beam javelin could not be used because a limiter was placed on the beam sabers. BOA XBRM-7907G Beam Rifle. A revolutionary weapon for its time, the beam rifle is the primary weapon of the Gundam. It is a miniaturized version of a mega-particle cannon with an output of 1.9 megawatts. The beam rifle employs the Federation's energy capacitor, or E-cap, technology and uses charged concentrations of Minovsky particles as ammunition. The resulting weapon has power equivalent to that of a battleship's main gun at the time of the One-Year War, allowing it to defeat a mobile suit with a single shot. The rifle can fire 12 to 15 shots when fully charged. It also features an offset, movable sensor that interfaces with the RX-78's Fire Control System (FCS) to achieve a high degree of accuracy, as well as a foregrip for firing support. When not in use, the beam rifle can be stored on the back of the Gundam's waist or behind its shield. Blash XHBL-03 NSTD Hyper Bazooka. The Hyper Bazooka is a portable, handheld, anti-ship rocket launcher that functions like a recoilless rifle, with gas ejected from the rear of the weapon. It is loaded with 5 rounds in a magazine towards the rear end. The Hyper Bazooka is effective against large groups of mobile suits due to its ability to cause damage over a wide area, though it is primarily used to destroy less maneuverable targets such as battleships and buildings. When required, the Gundam can be equipped with 2 Hyper Bazookas for increased firepower, with one held in each hand. RX-78 S01025 Shield. The Gundam's shield is a simple defensive equipment that can be carried by its handle or mounted on the mobile suit's forearm. When not in use, the shield can also be stored on the backpack. Weighing 10 tons, it is a simplification of the armor structure on the Gundam's body and is designed for shock diffusion and absorption rather than robustness. It features a triple honeycomb structure, with a high-density ceramic material based on super-hard steel alloy sandwiched between aramid fibers and an outermost layer made of Luna titanium alloy. The surface of the shield is filled with a resin made of a polymer material for improved elasticity. Used to block most physical and beam attacks, the shield was effective in close-quarters combat and could be thrown as a weapon. The shield could also be used to deflect heat away from the mobile suit during atmospheric re-entry. The Gundam carries a second shield on its right forearm when combined into the G-armor. This shield was originally discarded when the Gundam was ejected, but after a proposal by Amuro Ray, a special joint was implemented so that it could be mounted over the top of the shield on the left arm. Super Napom. The Super Napom is a 4-tube rocket launcher that fires powerful napalm rounds. It is an optional armament that is mounted underneath the beam rifle's barrel and is used to incinerate large areas. Gundam Hammer. The Gundam Hammer is a physical melee weapon that takes the form of a flail, with a large spike ball attached to the handle by a chain. It is useful in situations where beam weapons cannot be used. The chain is long enough that the weapon can be swung around the mobile suit to strike enemies at mid-range or thrown. The ball section of the weapon is extremely sturdy, and can take a direct hit from a Zaku bazooka without any apparent damage. Hyper Hammer. The Hyper Hammer is an enhanced version of the Gundam Hammer, with the ball featuring sharper spikes and multiple vernier thrusters. The thrusters are activated when the weapon is swung to increase the damage the ball causes or change its direction before impact. Special equipment and features. Core block system. The prototype mobile suits produced by the Earth Federation FOSS's Operation 5 are equipped with a central block which houses the mobile suit's cockpit, control systems and main power source. This core block can eject in case of emergency and unfold into a small core fighter. Hardpoints. An attachment point for weapons, shields, spare ammunition, or optional mission-specific equipment. Hardpoints can also be used to store carried weapons when a mobile suit needs its manipulators free for other purposes. In the show, the Gundam was seen equipped with a hardpoint on its back skirt which can store either the beam rifle or the hyper bazooka, and another on its backpack which can be used to mount the shield. The shield itself also contains a hardpoint on its back side which can be used to mount the beam rifle. Learning computer. The Inferential Navigation Control System, or ICN, more commonly known as the learning computer, is based on optical integrated circuits, granting it extremely high performance and immunity to Minovsky particle interference. It is capable of learning from previous experiences and rewriting its own programming to deal with new situations, essentially meaning that each battle increases the Gundam's combat ability and ultimately enable it to operate the Gundam automatically. Due to its high cost and the importance of the data it contains, it is located in the core fighter to facilitate recovery in the event of the Gundam's destruction. Heatproof Film, or Heatproof Field. A system installed in the RX-78-2 Gundam, designed to assist it in atmospheric re-entry. In the TV series, a heatproof film is stored within the heatproof film capsule located at the Gundam's crotch area, and covers over the Gundam when deployed to counter the frictional heat generated during re-entry. A similar system is also equipped on the Guntank. In the movie compilation, it was changed into the heatproof field, which is formed over the Gundam when specialized cooling air is pumped out from the Gundam's crotch section. The mobile suit's internal cooling systems must also be engaged to deal with the heat that penetrates the air field. For this version, it is said to be based upon the experimental atmospheric re-entry system of the White Base, and is not adopted for mass production. Magnet coating. A special membrane treatment applied to mobile suit joints to improve their response speed. The mobile suits developed by the Earth Federation forces use special actuators called field motors, which have their efficiency increased by the magnet coating process. The treatment also reduces friction resistance in the mobile suit's joints. First tested on the RX-78-3 Gundam, this process is then applied to the RX-78-2, used by Amuro Ray, reducing the time required for changes of direction by roughly 27%. Autopilot. Once sufficient data is accumulated, it is possible for the Gundam to automatically drive itself. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and share this video. Thank you for watching.